Hey guys, it's Linds. Welcome to Linds Soapbox. Today we're talking about episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again because this episode did it for me. I really enjoyed this episode a lot more than episodes 1 and 2. It just felt more authentically like the Netflix show, what I was expecting from this show. So let's talk about it. I do want to continue acknowledging the fact that this show had a creative overhaul because obviously that's going to affect or has affected the way that this show has been structured and is being given out to us. And with this third episode, you can clearly tell that this is what the original show was going to be like, right? Because the first episode that we got, that was completely reshot. That was completely new content. And the second episode, I believe, was originally supposed to be the pilot of the show, but then obviously it got pushed back so then we could add Foggy and Karen. I love thinking about it and putting it into perspective because again, this episode was good, so it's nice to know that what they originally had for the show, like, it was off to a great start. Obviously this entire episode was basically just a courtroom drama and I absolutely missed this. Oh my gosh, it was, let me talk about Charlie Cox's performance because every time I feel like I'm blown away, but this episode, like, just watching it, it was so entertaining, incredible performance. I love the way that Charlie Cox embodies Matt Murdock, the way that he just performs in the courtroom as Matt. It's so insanely good. Courtroom is his stage. Like, dude's actually a pretty good lawyer. No, but like, those moments, those sassy moments that he had with Officer Powell, right? When Powell was on the witness stand and then Murdock was like, oh yeah, so you have a black eye. And then he was like, in boxing, we say the best cure for a black eye are fast hands. Oh, dude ate that up. I'm sorry. That was good. Along with that, obviously we need to talk about Kamar de los Reyes' performance as Hector Ayala, aka White Tiger. It was just as incredible. Oh my gosh, like he brought so much emotion to the episode, obviously, and they really made us fall in love with that character and just care so deeply about him, and then they took him away from us at the end. Like, all his lines were so good when he was talking about the frogs and then when he was talking about White Tiger and what that means to him and why he does that. The way, again, just the way that he delivered the performance it was so good. And it's so unfortunate that Kamar passed away. I wish he would have been able to see just how much love people are having for this character of his and for his performance. And speaking of which, that scene where Hector is talking about the White Tiger and then we see Matt, how he's reacting to that, right? He obviously really resonates with what Hector is saying, but he can't actually verbalize it or say anything. Like, I loved seeing Charlie's performance in that as well. I'm telling you guys, this episode really did it for me. And also, how am I going to forget to mention when they were during the trial, when Matt was basically asking Hector, the questions of like, why do you put yourself out as White Tiger? Like, why do you do that? And then Hector, every time his response was, because it's the right thing to do. Because it's the right thing to do. Because it's the right thing to do. Chills. That was so good. But like, also just everything that was happening in the court, right? Because also the other lawyer, like, he was eating that up too. Like, literally after Matt finished their like final statements, or like when Matt finished his final statement, and then it was the other lawyer's turn, and then he started talking about how, even if a person is good, like, they can also do bad, and how got in depth about what happens when you get hit by a train. Like, that was good. So like, when the verdict was coming out, I was scared. I was like, I was literally at the edge of my seat. I was like, I really don't know, this could go either way, right? I was scared. But that's exactly what I love about this episode. Like, I love how it made me feel. Like, I was so invested again in this court case and everything that was happening in the courtroom. Also, the fact that a bunch of police officers were like there in the courtroom, I feel like just added an extra amount of tension because you couldn't determine like which ones are the corrupt cops and which ones weren't, right? Also, I forgot to mention this, but I did think it was insanely crazy that Matt Murdock decided to out Hector like that. Like, obviously I know it was critical for him to win the case. However, it's just like, my immediate thought when Matt did that was like, oh, like, Matt just put a direct target on Hector, because if he wins this case, the moment he leaves, like, now everyone's going to know who he is, not only him, but also his family. I thought that was interesting, and I really did not think that I thought that something was going to happen, like, once they walked out of the courtroom. Like, I thought that's when, like, they were going to, like, target him, but it wasn't until, obviously, the end of the episode. But I'm just like, yes, Matt saved him from, like, a life sentence in jail, but essentially he kind of sentenced him to death in a way, because thanks to the identity reveal, like Hector is now gone. You get what I mean? And I feel like that's really going to weigh on Matt, like in the next episodes. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out, but I feel like it's very obvious that like Matt's going to start thinking, oh yeah, that's kind of my fault. So it's gonna be really interesting to see. Oh, also the whole Nikki thing, I really love that too, because it just again added a bunch of like tension to like the episode. And it was like, is he gonna make it to the courtroom? Is he not? And then he made it to the courtroom, and then when he was at the witness stand, he was like, we were almost there, we were almost there, and then he completely opts out and then starts not saying the truth. I loved that. Also, I do love that we got to see Hector's, I think it was his niece, or was it his daughter? I don't know, but it was one of his family members. And we do know that the white tiger like mantle, like it's taken up by multiple people in like the Ayala family, right? So I'm like, there's hope for us to see another white tiger, right? Either the sister, the daughter, the niece, I don't know, one of them. Wilson Fisk, when I was gonna say when I catch you, but like realistically, girl, I would not stand a chance. I'd be gone. I wouldn't even get a chance to blink and I'd be gone. But but that scene where like Hector's like suiting up, right, getting into the white tiger suit, I loved the little Spanish music playing in the background. So beautiful. Now, was I surprised that Hector got killed off? I want to say no, because when it was happening, when it was going down, I was like, oh yeah, like I feel like this was kind of a given, right? And also there was not one moment that I thought that Frank Castle was actually the one that did that, right? Because when the person like walks up to the camera and shows the skull, oh my gosh, is that no, right? Because the whole idea, or what's kind of being hinted at us throughout these few episodes, is that people, the corrupt police, are misusing the Punisher logo, right? And then Frank is gonna come in and clear things up. And I am really excited about that. I think I discussed a little bit of that in my last video where I talked about the first 2 episodes, but this whole thing, because this happens in real life, right? So I really like the like meta kind of situation that we're addressing here, right? Because there's people who just take the Punisher logo, take the Punisher idea, and kind of try to use it in their own way, but it just literally does not make sense because it does not line up with what the Punisher actually stands for, right? Or it's just, right? So yeah, I'm excited to see Jon Bernthal back as Punisher. Like, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be next episode. I feel like it's just kind of a given, right? Because especially how this episode ended. So I can't wait, guys. I can't wait. And I'm telling you guys, on Tuesday when I finished this episode, I was so happy because again, I felt like this episode perfectly encapsulated what I loved about the Netflix show. And I love everything that we're exploring, or it seems that we're going to be exploring this season, right? With the whole Punisher thing, with Mayor Fisk, right? But later that night, I was like, okay, I'm locking in. I'm rereading 2019's Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run. I think it's 2019. I'm pretty sure it's 2019. I forget what year, but it's 2019. No, yeah, it has to be 2019 because it wouldn't be 2020. So I locked in. I opened that comic and I am now rereading it. I am so excited. I'm happy. That is pretty much it for my thoughts. Clearly, I really enjoyed this episode. Again, my favorite episode so far, and I really, really hope that it just gets better from here. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow me on my other socials. It's at lindssoapbox, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.